What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into a Saturday morning episode of the Daily Juice Podcast. My name is Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me across all of my socials at Sports Talk Matt, and we are back after a flat day. Iowa won, but they didn't cover, unfortunately. They only won by one, and then we get the hockey bet right. Moneyline comes in on Dallas, so we're down 0.1, a paper cut. Flat day. There were no NBA player props that I liked last night. I didn't put anything out. So I apologize. I hate when I say I'm going to do that and then I look at the board and I'm like, I don't like anything. And then I don't play it. So I apologize for that. There won't be any NBA player props today. There will be some player props on Sunday, obviously. But for today, yes, I will do a live stream. There's enough games to get into here that are really, really good games in college basketball. I got 3 plays for us going on right now, but we will in the morning, 8 a.m. Pacific time. Really, let's do it 9 a.m. Pacific. Let's do it at noon because that's going to take us till most of the good games are in the afternoon, or the evening. So I think we're going to be okay with that. So let's do it at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific time on the BettingPros Discord channel. Okay, it's bettingpros.com/chat for us. Houston, Kansas, Tennessee, Auburn. I have a play on Texas A&M, Texas. I have a play on Ole Miss, Missouri. I have a play on Georgia, Florida. We'll take a look at Iowa State at Arizona State, Kentucky at Vanderbilt, LSU at Alabama. There's a lot of really good games. Duke's at Wake Forest. There's a lot of good games to take a look at here on a Saturday. So we will do it coming up on the Discord channel at 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon Eastern on the Betting Pros Discord channel, bettingpros.com/chat to get in to join us for that. Okay, so we have a very good week going, had a very good month going so far. We're up over 11 units, around there for the week, for the month. So doing well here. Hockey's been good. We'll pick a pause from hockey, but college basketball's been good as well. So let's stick with it and let's keep rolling. Okay, so let's talk first and foremost about Ole Miss on the road at Missouri. So Ole Miss is 8-1 ATS on the road this year. 8-1. Ole Miss is 5-1 in the SEC, but so is Missouri. Missouri is 5-1 as well, but Missouri just went on the road to Texas, and they lost by 8. Ole Miss had a lead at home against Texas A&M, and they blew it. They led the entire game, and then they lost. That's not going to sit well with Ole Miss. I expect them to be really ticked off and mad here. It snapped a 6-game 5-1 straight up, 6-0 ATS streak for Ole Miss, where they were laying 3 and they lost the game by 1. They were winning. They should have won the game by at least 2. Instead, they blow it and they lose to A&M at home. On the other side, Missouri just lost on the road as a 3-point dog to Texas. They lost by 8. That snapped a 5-game in a row streak for them to cover and a 4-1 mark for them straight up. Missouri is just 7-7 at home, however, this year. Not great. Their last game against Arkansas, they laid 5.5, but they won the game by 18. Arkansas is not very good, like we talked about, but we went ahead and laid, we took Arkansas in their last game. More on that here in a little bit with Arkansas. They played Florida on the road. They beat Florida on the road, which is a huge win. They were catching 10.5. They won by 1. They were home against Vandy. They were laying 5.5. They won by 9. They laid 7.5 against LSU. They won by 16. So why is this number only 3? A number tells the story oftentimes in games. Why is this number only 3? This number should be more than 3, right? This number should be like Vanderbilt, 5.5, or LSU, 7.5. There's a problem with that. The books like Ole Miss rather. 7-1, 12-6-1 overall, 8-1 on the road. I'll take the points. Hard fought, tight basketball game. Look, on the road, Ole Miss beat Alabama as a 12-point dog. They won by 10. They went on the road to Mississippi State. They lost the game by 3, but they covered the 5.5. This number should be 5.5 or higher if it was going to be a Missouri cover in my mind. I think the books are telegraphing here a little bit. They expect a pretty good performance out of Ole Miss. I'll take Ole Miss to keep that record going. They're 8-1 on the road. Let's go 9-1. I'll take the 3 points. Ole Miss +3 on the road at Missouri for 1.1 units. There is a theme for the plays today, and that is SEC basketball. Georgia's at Florida. The number is 10.5. Florida is 6-4 ATS at home this year. They're 3-3 in the SEC, but Georgia is 2-5 ATS on the road, and we just faded Georgia up against Arkansas. They were catching 1. They lost by 3. They had a pretty big lead in that game, and they blew it. Why? Georgia can't score. Georgia can't score. Georgia went on the road, catching 12.5 points to Tennessee. They lost by 18 points. They're on the road at Ole Miss, catching 5. They lost by 12. Those are the last 2 road games for Georgia. On the road before the Arkansas game where they're catching 1 and they lost by 3. 3 straight games on the road, they have lost. 3 straight games on the road, they have failed to cover. Now they're on the road at Florida. In their last home game, they were laying 10.5 points against Texas, and they won by 24 points. That was after a home loss to Missouri, which they bounced back in a big way. Home against Tennessee, they laid 3. They won by 30. At home in the SEC, Florida has been very good. At home, beating Texas by 24. At home, beating Tennessee by 30, mixed in with the Missouri loss, which was somewhat of a stunner for them, laying 10.5 points, and they lost by 1. They're coming off of a 1-point win against South Carolina. They were down by 14 points. Didn't look good. Angry Florida Gator team at home here against a Georgia squad that cannot score. This is a get-right game for Florida in my mind. The last time they had a nail-biter against Missouri, they beat Texas at home by 24 points. They had a nail-biter against South Carolina. I think they blow out Georgia here. I don't normally lay 10.5. I'm laying 10.5. Florida minus 10.5 at home against Georgia for 1.1 units. And finally, let's talk Texas A&M and Texas. So A&M 4-4-1 ATS on the road this year. Texas 8-4. They had been playing really poorly, but the Missouri win and the Oklahoma win are big for Texas. They got killed by Florida in between on the road there, but they came back home against Missouri. They laid 3 and they won by 8. We were on Texas in that moment because they had lost 4 of 5 games. Now they come back and win and beat Missouri. Why is this number only 1? This number should be bigger, right? A&M's on the road, 4-4-1. A&M is 3-2-1 in the SEC on the road, 11-6-2 ATS for A&M. This is a huge rivalry game for A&M and Texas. Against Oklahoma at home in a big rivalry game, Texas went catching 2.5 points. They won by 4 points. Here against A&M, they're off that win against Ole Miss, which was really lucky. After their win over LSU at home, laying 11, they won by 11. On the road against Kentucky, they were catching 7.5. They lost by 12. At home against Bama, they were catching 3.5. They lost by 6. On the road against Oklahoma, they were catching 2.5. They won the game by 2. And in the first matchup between these two teams, A&M was laying 6.5, and they won by 20. Why is this number not bigger? In the first matchup, they won by 20, and the first game was 6.5. We flipped venues, and all of a sudden this number is Texas -1. Texas is favored? Telling me a story. When I see, again, 2 games in which I think the line tells the story, I'll go with the line telling me the story of Texas -1. This should be A&M being favored. If A&M wins this game, Texas surprisingly is favored. I'm going to follow it. They're 4-1 ATS over their last 5 games, 7-3 ATS over their last 10 games. Texas -1 for 1.1 units. So I have a game I'm watching for Saturday morning that I'll give an extra play on our Discord channel chat coming up later on this morning at noon Eastern time, 9 a.m. Pacific. I'll add one more play to our card. But the card officially here for Saturday, Ole Miss +3 on the road, Florida -10.5 at home, and Texas -1.5 at home here against Texas A&M. Those are our 3 plays. Hopefully you might get a 1. Hopefully you get a 1 out of that, but we'll go 1.5 with Texas. You want to play money line, by the way? Look, if you played money line with Iowa, you got a 2-0 day. Should just play that money line. You can just play money line with Texas if you want. I'm playing 4 plays. That's why I'm not playing money line, because I don't really want to get into the minus 130, minus 140 type of price tag for Texas. But I think Texas money line is not a bad play if you just want to avoid losing. Or if it gets to 1, even better. Play at minus 1. You have to worry about that. Those are our plays. 1 to be added on the Discord channel chat coming up at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific time. BettingPros.com/chat to join. My name is Matt Perrault. Follow me across all socials at Sports Talk Matt every single morning, wherever you guys get your podcasts. It is the Daily Juice.